This week in the Restroom, we scrub in for a coma-inducing medical drama from 2007. We got gear-shifting plot twists, zero-chemistry actors, confusing flashbacks, Lifetime Network quality screenwriting, and Hayden Christensen once again proving George Lucas wrong that he actually has any discernible acting skills or charisma. It's Awake, and before we flush it, we're gonna take it out and play with it a little. Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone. I am Honor Knight, your head cinematic flusher right here in the Restroom. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin.
Hey, hey, hey.
Raging Buddha B movie queen Nora Crest.
What's up?
And sassy cinephile Sarah Polton.
Hi.
Our special guest this time out is an anesthesiologist who is the inventor and CEO of the NoMo Nausea Bands. NoMo Nausea is a revolutionary drug-free elastic wristband that combines acupuncture with aromatherapy to provide relief from all types of nausea, including morning sickness, motion sickness, migraines, and most of the cinematic turds we flush here in the Restroom. You can find out all about this award-winning band over at our website, nomonausea.com. There is a link in the show notes. Please welcome the lovely and talented Jacqueline Darna.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
Let's kick off this flush with a round of The Flusher Games. You're going down. We're going to go around the cinematic bowl with our alternate titles for this week's cinematic turd, and whoever doesn't get any laughs is eliminated until there's just one co-flusher or guest left standing. The winner will then get to select who reads the RSS, that's Restroom Stall Stats, in a funny voice of their choosing. Here we go. Griff.
Empire Strikes Back.
All right, she's still in it. All right, Crest.
I know who killed me.
She's still in. Damn it, Polton. Polton.
The Force Awakens.
You guys. I don't know about that. We're gonna let you slide. Jackie.
Put me asleep, never awake.
Okay, that was pretty good. I had Barely Awake. God damn it, you guys suck. All right, I'm out. All right, Griffin.
Alba, you wish you signed a prenup.
Crest.
Mommy Dearest.
Polton.
90 Minutes in Heaven.
Yeah.
That was good. Jackie.
Not wrong.
Radiant Love.
Oh, Jackie's out.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
she's
That's
out. All right, yeah.
Accurate.
All right, so we're down to Griffin, Crest, and Polton. Griffin.
Ashes to ashes, clay to clay.
Griffin's out. Okay, Crest and Polton. It's down to Crest and Polton for the big win. Crest.
Hayden's Tabletop Nightmare.
Oh, and Polton is the big winner tonight.
Wait, did she have a final title?
Yeah, what's your final title, Polton?
The Phantom Menace.
All right. You got lucky because Crest's last one sucked. All right, so Polton is the big winner tonight of our very first round of the Flusher Games, and she gets to choose who does the stats and the funny voice. Polton, who you got?
All right, I'm gonna go Nora because I'm gunning for you because I like your funny voices, and then the voice of my choosing will be someone who is a heavy smoker.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, have at it, Miss Crest.
Awake is a 2007 American conspiracy thriller film written and directed by Jacoby Harold. It stars Hayden Christensen, Jessica Alba, Terrence Howard, and Lena Olin. The film was released in the United States and Canada because they can't get enough of our bullshit up there on November 30th, 2007. The film was not screened in advance for critics because you know what that means. It's a piece of shit. The film opened at number 5 at the U.S. box office in its first opening weekend. Awake received generally negative reviews. That's a shocker upon release. Dennis Harvey on Variety said the film does have an attention-getting plot hook, but piles on too many narrative gimmicks to maintain suspense or credibility. Yeah, no fucking shit. A group representing anesthesiologists in Ontario criticized the film following its release for having science completely wrong because, you know, films are so good at science. The film was nominated for 2 Razzies, including Worst Actress for Jessica Alba, which she gets nominated for every film, and Worst Screen Cover for Alba and Hayden Christensen, which he gets every single time he has no chemistry with women. But host Lindsay Lohan for Who I Know Who Killed Me, a film was also flushed. Wait, Now they're following our stats.
Well, we tagged that one
Yes.
in. All right, great job, Miss Kress. Very good.
Did you know who was originally supposed to star in Alba's place?
Ooh.
No.
Kate Bosworth.
Oh, well, that would have worked too. That doesn't. They both
No.
played Sue Storm.
Wait,
Doesn't matter.
yes, our 90 Minutes in Heaven duo could have had another 90 minutes in our personal hell.
God, no.
Boy, if there was ever a film that was made for the NoMo Nausea Band, this one's it. Right, Jackie?
Oh, boy.
So if you're gonna do a movie about anesthesia, like you should have like a few things, like even something that remotely resembles the operating room. My favorite was that they gowned Jessica Alba, but still she has no gloves, no mask, no
Yeah,
nothing.
right.
I'm like sitting there going, it's just very irritating from us, especially because I got a lot of controversy with this, like after it first came out. They actually sent letters like warning us like, hey, patients are going to ask you the dumbest questions now. And they couldn't even tape the tube.
I haven't seen a medical thriller this bad since every medical thriller on Lifetime. It's pretty much.
This could be on Lifetime.
And the next line was, this film makes anesthesiologists look like a bunch of irresponsible drunken assholes. Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Thanks so much.
I just want a disclaimer. Honor does not represent the views of the other co-hosts.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jackie is very responsible when she's in the OR and she's not tanking up on her flask. That's, I think, is the worst offense, though, Jackie, isn't it?
Like we actually don't need to exist when, in essence, we have everyone's life in our hands.
You
That's
literally
yeah,
do.
exactly. Aren't you're like almost like the most important part of it? That's a shitty trope that they pushed on both movies and TV shows is the drunken anesthesiologist.
Well, yeah, we have a drunken podcaster, so I don't think it's that far out, honestly.
Yeah, but no one's going to die, Honor, if you tried to
You
kill
don't
her.
know that. You don't
That's
know
right.
that, Sarah.
It's not all about you, Honor.
Well,
Okay.
I know. As much as, yeah, I know. All right.
No, but I mean, I remember there was a Grey's Anatomy episode where they had a drunken
Oh,
one.
boy.
And it seems like
What
that's
is-
like a recurring.
All you guys do is
It's-
drink? Is that all?
Well,
it is?
a
either
drug-
that or that we're like drug addicts, because I mean, realistically, we're like
Oh,
overpaid.
like the Glass House.
Yeah, we're overpaid drug dealers. Like
Okay.
that's kind of our job.
Each year, over 21 million people receive general anesthesia. Film opens with ominous titles that only serve to make us think we're watching a boring safety film on the dangers of putting people under. Jackie, that's not accurate, right?
Well, the actual statistics
Or
on
statistic.
the number of people that undergo general anesthesia is probably correct, because we have records and accuracy on like how many people, but in all actuality it's actually safer by like 1/16 than when somebody's actually driving to get to the hospital. It's actually way more dangerous to get to the hospital and or drive home than it is to actually go under anesthesia because of newer medications, better knowledge, better drugs, to be honest with you, like that. But what is not correct was the statistic that said right after it about the number of people who were actually awake.
30,000, they said.
How many?
Yeah.
They said 30,000. What is the
30,000.
What is the actual?
I actually have no idea, but it's not really an awake.
You had
So
one,
like,
you had one
they-
job, Jackie. You had one job.
yeah. So I don't actually have like the complete number. I do have to say though that
Is it lower?
that there's no like, okay, so there's 3 different types or forms, I guess you could say, of what they were trying to get at. So being awake under anesthesia, a lot of people, whenever they go to wake up, we actually give them medication to make them forget kind of what happens. And when they wake up during the actual procedure or after the procedure itself, it's because that they are awake. We have to wake them up before we're able to extubate them. Right. Now, for that case, there are situations like traumas where if somebody's dying anyway, they're bleeding out completely, there is nothing as an induction agent that I'm actually able to give, but we can give paralytic and then obviously kind of like backtrack it to give other medications. There are some medications that we can try to give on like the back end, not on the forward end, because our medications vary. You give something to put somebody off to sleep. That can either be a mask of gas that we utilize on children. It can be medication given through the IV that's an induction agent. That's the whole propofol, etomidate, and that puts someone to sleep. But you can't maintain somebody to sleep unless you connect them with anesthesia gases. That's the reason why we actually have the tube. And or you could continue to pump in medication through their IV. The problem comes in when somebody doesn't get the actual general anesthetic portion of it, the anesthesia portion, because it can lower somebody's blood pressure. And if somebody's dying already on the table, the only thing that we can give is so that they don't move. And that's a paralytic. So that's where this whole movie comes into concept is that this guy was clearly young, healthy. There was no reason. But let's say, a car accident victim is literally bleeding out and he's lost like all of his appendages or whatever that is. We can't physically put him off to sleep. We can give him something to paralyze him and then give him something retrospectively to make him kind of forget what had happened. And now they actually have new technology where it's called the BIS monitor. And it's where you place it on the forehead and it actually is able to signify, or supposed to, brainwave activation to make sure that they are in the correct state of anesthesia. Now, as long as most of us are following the guidelines, that so rarely happens. Usually most people that have colonoscopies or endoscopies, they think that that's general anesthesia, where it's actually not. That's the reason why I always tell people they're like, I was awake, I was watching it on the screen. I was like, well, that could be because you were just having like a sedative. You were just asleep enough to where you were comfortable, but you don't have to be completely out and under. So the titles between general anesthesia and what's called a MAC anesthetic or conscious sedation are very different. And I think that people that don't understand that concept are what were the dumbass patients that were coming to me saying, hey, so could I be awake? And I'm like, well, again, as long as somebody's doing their job, like myself, as long as we're doing our job right, there is no reason for you to ever to be able to recall. But so that's what the whole movie is about. And believe it or not, yes, you can give muscle relaxation and the person who's under anesthesia or who's under will not be able to move, will be able to think and have pain.
Excellent. I want to thank everybody for listening to this week's episode of Anesthesia Today. All right.
Jackie, wait, real quick.
Okay.
Jackie, what happens if you wake up from anesthesia and you ask the male nurse if you should take your shirt off and then you make him hold your hand? What is that?
That's a date right there.
That's just called you being you.
Yeah. And Miss Jackie with the win on that. Okay. A film by Dobby Harold, not to be confused with Dobby Harold from Harry Potter. Hey, okay. I know. All right. That was his name is Joby.
No, I actually thought of the same thing.
Opening shot of a wall full of picture frames. Looked like the cameraman was desperately trying to pull focus while they were shooting. I thought my glasses needed cleaning. What a shitty way to open your film. On a related note, apparently the DCEU isn't enough of a shit state that they recently hired this Joby Harold guy, to do a rewrite of The Flash. Then I wrote, ha 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 ha. Yeah, this guy got work. Oh my God, he's a terrible writer. Yeah, good luck with The Flash, buddy. Sorry, Ezra Miller.
This movie was a mess.
It's a mess. We'll talk about it. It's a narrative mess, yeah. People die. Empire's Terrence Howard, also known as War Machine Number 1, is now going to torture the audience.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Did you forget that he was the original War Machine?
Yes.
And he's now going to torture the audience with some atrocious voiceover about death while suicide accompaniment music plays in the background at the 2-minute mark. I guess you can say Howard lost his hustle and flow. Hey, come on. Come on. God, you guys are tough tonight.
Well, I just want to say this. I like Terrence Howard as an actor.
I do. He's terrible.
Whatever, and I watch Empire. I'm a big fan, but I did not for one second in this film believe that he was a doctor.
Nope.
Not for one.
She's the only one who got my Empire joke.
Jackie, doctors don't really act like this, or maybe they do. Is this normal for them?
No. Fucking idiots. It makes us look like we're like mob bosses that's like all, we plot and like all, and the other thing is, we have to be on our A game, period.
Right.
Like I always say, whenever I have to go to work, I have to check my luggage at the front door, right? Like you can't bring anything in with you because you have somebody else's life on the line. So I hated the fact that like, in every way, from the surgeon to the nurse, quote unquote, to the anesthesiologist, to everybody, to the entire team, it made everybody look so horrible. Yeah. And it put a real big damper on the movie too, because I was hoping that this movie was going to be much more driven by science. And when you were talking about before, the lens, like all I could think about is I was like, well, maybe there's like an eyelash inside of his eye. That's all I'm thinking.
Nice go. Very good.
Also, did you notice like almost nobody in that hospital had an ID tag on?
Nah, you don't need those. You don't need them. Fuck it.
It's harder to get into my apartment building than this OR.
Hayden Christensen. Was anyone else hoping that Christensen was already dead in that bathtub when his title credit popped up so we'd have to endure his awful acting? Oh my God.
Yes.
Between this turd and 90 Minutes in Heaven, Christensen should easily be able to score a gig on Dancing with the Stars at this point.
Ouch.
Hey, Alan.
I don't think they'd even take him. He's not C-list enough. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
I said Hayden Christensen wants to be the Leo DiCaprio of The Great Gatsby, but he's more like the Leo DiCaprio of What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, dude. Okay, R.I.P. Gilbert Grape's mom.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, nothing against the mom.
Can I just say, but Hayden Christensen's next project that's coming out this year is called Numb at the Edge of the End. Tove Matheson is a war veteran with PTSD who perceives that the end of the world is coming, and after establishing a relationship with a dubious messiah, he leaves his normal life and begins the construction of a shelter underground, training himself in an extreme way at the cost of losing everything and making people believe he's insane, when he also believes that something extraordinary happens.
So he's building the Death Star underground.
Okay, so yeah, we don't have to watch that film. What do you...
So this whole movie, I was like annoyed as crap at him, and I just thought it was his bad acting. And then I realized he looks identical to my ex-boyfriend Brandon and was just as moody. He was so beautiful, but you just want to smack him in that pretty face.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, so
God,
PTSD.
like Louise.
I didn't.
Want to slap him in his pretty face.
Definitely PTSD from Miss Pullen. What are you doing under there? A Wake title finally shows up on the screen around the 4-minute mark, which is helpful since you're already so bored you would have forgotten the film you're watching. You're thinking about making love to me all morning. No, what Hayden Christensen is actually thinking about is how much he sucked in those Star Wars prequels, and now he's forced to do shitty films like this one. This really is the rest of his career, isn't it? Just doing these Lifetime movies. I did like Jumper,
though. I have to say, I did like Jumper, which came out the next year, and it was based on a series of books, and they didn't give it a sequel, but it was actually a really fun
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it was good. And hey, he got his he met his wife on there. So hey.
All right. Well, are you a big fan of Hayden Christensen there, Jackie?
No.
Well,
you know what?
There you go.
I would love to go to.
Honestly, looks sick. Like when he started, I was like, "There's something wrong with him."
Yeah, he's ill.
Right.
I don't know. He just looks very ill. Like he drank something terrible and he has like a worm on the inside of his body or something. That's starting to like eat away at his like facial features. Like he actually looked ill at the beginning of the
You're right.
movie,
You're absolutely right.
Like,
On a medical note, he really should have had that mole removed from his back. Although that mole may have given the best performance in the film, 5-minute mark.
That bothered me.
That was
gross.
gross.
Like, that's what you need to be looking at.
I know, that's what it was. It was so distracting.
Get that shit checked out.
Maybe it's for like weight balance, like just small enough in the front, and then you have to have a nice big mole in the back until it keeps level. Like,
all right, Jackie with the win again. Nice going. She's on point today. So the plot is, as it stands now, is he's a businessman. Jessica Alba is the girlfriend of him. I know you do. Was anyone else distracted by the huge lipstick mark on that Alba left on Whiny Vader's forehead aroad the 6-minute mark?
Yep.
The whole thing was just so weird.
To follow up on that,
I'm gonna start doing that.
You should start doing that. I said the lipstick mark may have given the best performance in a film. Hey-oh, next to the mole. I think those two are the two best performances.
Their dialogue. Who wrote this dialogue? You think you're gonna make love to me? No, I'm thinking I want to see you with all your clothes wet. That's like the weirdest dirty talk foreplay, whatever that is supposed to be, that I've ever heard.
Nobody does. Nobody says that shit. They're getting ready for work. She drops him off at work, kisses his forehead, leaves a dumbass lipstick mark, which I thought was unintentional until the next scene where he kind of wipes it off. So it was intentional. I just thought maybe they just didn't notice when she planted one on him. Written and directed by Joby Harold, or Jobby Harold, whatever you want to go. Opening credits, guys, finally wrap up around the 8-minute mark in a film that only runs 84 minutes. Boy, I can't wait to see how long the end credits run. Holy shit, that takes way too long to get to. There's no reason why we need 8 minutes of credits.
Honestly, guys, I actually fell asleep twice. My husband had to like keep waking me up, and I'm like, okay, that's right, I'm supposed to be watching.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so she might have missed some of this. Okay. You know how many bullshit malpractice suits are in this country? Well, I don't know, Jackie. How many bullshit malpractice suits are there?
Tons.
Okay. There you go.
Accurate.
Mr. Terrence Howard has at least 4 leveled against him right now. That's what he claims that they're bullshit malpractice.
Can I just ask, is that common that a surgeon with 4 malpractice suits would be like doing a surgery on someone this high profile who apparently owns half of New York?
No, you actually are only allowed to have 3 malpractice suits actually occurring, believe it or not, before you lose your license completely.
Okay.
I feel like legitimate ones are actually way harder to actually see through in court than the frivolous ones.
Most don't ever go to court. And trust me, if it does go to court, it means that the doctor fucked up, like cut the wrong leg.
Oh, God.
Come on in, get acquainted. This is where we're going to be spending a good chunk of running time, folks. 10-minute mark. So let's recap. Mr. Terrence Howard is a heart surgeon, or is a surgeon, I should say. He's going to be doing a heart procedure on Mr. Hayden Christensen, who has a heart defect and has to have a heart transplant. They become friends. They're kind of buddies. They go fishing in this earlier scene. Now he's giving him a tour of the OR where this guy's going to be getting his heart fucking switched out. When I open up your chest and remove your heart, I'm going to replace it either with a baboon heart, just like the one Christian Slater got, or B, something that will Darth Vader you up. So, okay, 2 of those are a little dated. We'll keep going. God damn it, guys. Jack, saddle up. They just greenlit another Short Circuit sequel, and I'm the star again. Fisher Stevens busts onto the set, decked out in blue scrubs like he was doing a guest spot on Scrubs. Anybody remember Fisher Stevens? I mean, I
like him.
I liked him in other stuff.
I'm just saying, when Fisher Stevens is your doctor, just already, that's a no.
Yeah,
That's
I guess he was
happening.
the assistant. He was the assistant surgeon, right, Jack? How's it working there? They got the regular surgeon, the assistant, they got you, and they got some bimbo, some nurse in there, right?
Yeah, we usually have the OR nurse, and then sometimes, we also have a scrub tech, and usually one other, assistant or somebody to kind of grab other stuff.
Now, does it work like teams? Like these clowns were all like one team because they're all in this together? I know it's a plot, but is that how it usually works? Just in teams, or just whoever shows up?
The OR is very cliquey, believe it or not.
No, that's not
so
true.
there are people there's a cardiac team, so they handle cardiac. I don't do cardiac anymore. I do a lot of pediatrics and regular general surgery, a lot of neuro and stuff. But we have our clique. We have a crew that works really well together because, for example, the people that you want doing your open heart surgery is not the super slow people who are doing vaginas all day long. You don't want those people working on your heart because, it's just a bad
You got
mix.
that pulled?
Yeah, it is a crew, though.
Okay, got it. Right.
Right. Yeah. Vagina is different from your heart. Got it. Okay. You look...
Actually, they're connected sometimes.
Thank you.
All right. Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional, all right? That's why we have one on the show. Get off my shit. You look beautiful, Sam. Unlike you with that 90s flip phone attached to your ear in a film that takes place in 2007, 12-minute mark. Again, phones came off the production truck.
That's a Zach Morris
I'm
phone.
tired of seeing these fucking phones. I know they come
Well,
off
they
the
had the
truck.
little shitty Nokia.
She had it. She had the Nokia and she had the flip phone.
And then at one point he also has the razor.
Oh, does he have the razor? Oh,
yeah, when he's walking out and he
so
just
sick of-
disses her fucking hardcore.
Well, that's it right here.
But it was like a chunky razor.
Yeah, so he basically, the mother is Lena Olin. We're getting to her, and the mother.
Oh, by
Hayden
the way,
Christensen.
they considered Sigourney Weaver and Helen Mirren.
Oh,
for
that's
this role.
interesting. Two other better choices, I think. I like Olin. Don't get me wrong, but I think that would.
She was great. I was team mom.
Okay. She plays the mother of Hayden Christensen, and they're both, running their big corporate business together. Anyway, the mother doesn't know that her and Christensen and Jessica Alba are actually engaged, I should say, and seeing each other. Alba plays the assistant to the mother. We'll talk about that. Anyway, they pass each other on the street. He pretends not to notice her because he has to jump in the car limo with his mom, which is a really shitty scene. And as in the thing, now there's an actual surgeon who apparently, and we'll get to him, he's a high, some bald motherfucker. I forget this guy's name, but he's friends with Lena Olin. He says, "My hands have been inside presidents," and then I wrote, "Hey-o." All right.
Seriously, right?
You want to be operated on by the best surgeon possible. Now let's talk about that party tonight, because that's way more important.
I saw a deleted scene that he was running down the hallway or something with a Grim Reaper, the whole costume. And that's how they were going to intro him, saying "Oh, I just came from the party."
Sir, they need you in there. Who thought having whiny Vader decked out like Tom Cruise from Top Gun was a good Halloween costume choice? First of all, why isn't he dressed like Darth Vader?
It was Tom Cruise from A Few Good Men.
Oh, you're right. Few Good Men. But why wasn't he dressed
accurate.
like Darth Vader? That was a no-brainer, guys.
Pretty sure they could not get that trademark.
I don't think he's ever allowed to even own Darth Vader underoos at this point.
I swear to God, my microphone's not working tonight. For some reason, nobody's hearing me. Why
We
are
heard your
there?
shitty joke. We just have good taste.
Okay, well,
Savage.
there is that. Man, you guys are brutal tonight. Fuck. Why are there only 4 people dressed up at this Halloween party? I thought rich people can afford costumes. You notice that? The party itself.
Didn't you see the woman that was clearly dressed as Jackie Onassis? Talk about
Was
fucking
there?
tacky.
I was actually named after her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my
That's awesome.
maiden name used to start with O, so I was Jackie O, but I was actually
look at
by my
you.
parents named after her. It's
That's
just
awesome.
hilarious.
Okay, well, we're not bagging on Jackie, but
Super random.
Whoa, there he is. And here is Stranger Things David Harbour, dressed out as Dracula, appearing in his own version of Stranger Things around the 15-minute mark. At a related note,
and that's
folks.
what he's credited as in the film, Dracula.
Is he really? I said a
Yeah.
related note. I said Harbour would make for a fairly intimidating Dracula, or a bartender as Dracula.
We need Winona Ryder's bewildered gif throughout this movie.
We should also call him one scene Harbour, since Dracula doesn't make another appearance in his film. That's it. He's literally got this one scene, and he's out.
No, he's supposed to be like somehow in Hayden Christensen's company because he's introducing him to some Japanese guys that they're merging with or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, the way he says it to him is like, obviously these guys work closely together, yet he has no name and no other place in the movie.
And he disappeared. That's it. It's one scene. So David Harbour just showed up for an hour, basically.
But he's
2
in
hours.
like the opening credits. I love it.
Do you remember him, Clay? Actor Sam Robards playing Whiny Vader's flashback father? Well, we didn't. 18-minute mark. Should mention, folks, there's a dark past that Mr. Christensen has regarding his father and his mother that we can keep getting repeated flashbacks for till the end of the movie. And I hate this film. I hate films that rely on flashbacks to tell your story.
So
tired.
lame.
It's so fucking.
It reminded me of Gremlins.
The whole
Was it Gremlins?
Yes.
The whole back half of the movie is flashbacks, and we'll talk about that. The film starts to collapse under itself. I should say the longer we go on. I should have done this a long time ago. Considering you've been engaged for 6 months and no one knows, yeah, you should have. This is how Empire started. Get it? Get it? All right, I know. A cheap fucking Darth Vader joke. All right, so basically they've been seeing each other. They haven't told Mom because they know Mom would be upset that they are engaged and they want to get married, which doesn't make any sense. This guy's a grown fucking adult.
Exactly.
I don't understand
This is like the
what's
reverse
problem
Oedipus
here?
complex,
Is it?
where the mom is in love with the kid.
I think the mom wants to
Usually
fuck the
Oedipus
kid.
complex is like the son is in love with the mom.
God, that would have been a better film if she just started making out with him at some point.
Yeah,
Like, it would have had a
but
fucking
there-
great movie.
but
And
there
let
are
me just say, as a mom of 2 sons, this is super creepy.
There are so many movies where they act like if like somebody has a heart condition, it's like they're developmentally disabled as well.
Jackie, do you run into that a lot? That your heart patients just can't get their shit together? Yeah, so that's
no,
a
but
yes.
the parents think, just like when you talk to younger children,
Right.
like all these parents are like yelling at them, and you're like, your kid's not deaf. It's just not you should talk back to you.
It's a grown adult. Oh, that's really funny, Jack. All right, we're getting a lot of insight tonight on the inner workings of the hospital. If you walk out that door, you've made your choice. Well, there you go. Speaking of that, Lena Olin drops into Mommy Dearest mode around the 21-minute mark for no good reason other than to have a stereotypical controlling mother in the film. Why is this such a generic character? Talk about lazy screenwriting. They could have made this an interesting woman.
The pacing of the reveal made no sense because at the end you realized she wasn't a mommy dearest.
Right, but why then go this route early on?
Exactly.
Yeah, just make her compassionate from the get-go. I don't like.
Honestly, the whole movie, I was like, Team Mom. She seems to know what's going on here.
Oh,
She's like, hey, that surgeon seems like a bad idea. I was like, yeah, I would probably listen to her.
Triple bypass last June, and I'm calling in a favor. Terrence Howard is slowly getting his hustle and flow back, which is more than I can say for a film that now threatens to bore us to death by the 22-minute mark.
Movies.
No, not really. 22 minutes in, guys, and we're bored. Does anybody know what the hell was going on 22 minutes in? It's really boring up until this point.
I literally sent Honor a message, and I said, what?
Yeah, she did, and then Jackie fell asleep twice. Her husband had a cattle prod her into staying awake. So obviously we got some problems here if we can't even stay awake during the movie.
They don't explain like his wealth or like how much control he has over it.
He's
anything.
He's Batman. It doesn't matter.
Can I just say they got married in like 1 second, and then
well, it's coming up, Alan.
Well, I'm just saying,
right here,
the whole plot. I mean, this is a gigantic plot hole.
It's a huge
She would
plot
have
hole.
no claim to his money.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Zero
because
claims.
his mother's still alive.
Right. Spoilers. Don't give away the big reveal here. There's a big reveal coming up, folks. We promise. We promise.
Did
It's
anybody
not
else pick up on the fact that like he like picked up his new bride and like slammed her on the bed and like started fucking her crazy, and he's got a heart condition that could kill him? Like
they were late for his heart transplant because they had to bang.
This is like Sophie's choice. Do you get a new heart or do you have sex with Jessica Alba? What do you do?
You definitely have sex with Jessica Alba. But
Thank you. That's what I was actually thinking.
All right, we're all having sex with. Yeah, right. So basically, they want to get married that night because just to be married. Terrence Howard sets that up so they can get married in the middle of the night when a minister and a witness and all this other crap. For better or for worse, but mostly worse since the costume designer insisted that Whiny Vader wear that god-awful bow tie that makes him look like a waiter at a high-end restaurant. A terrible
it makes him
outfit.
look like a Fox News commentator.
Or that. We can go with that. They're the only ones with the number. Well, apparently they also still use pagers in 2007 as well. That was during that sex scene, guys.
Don't they have something like that for patients that are on these
Do
donor
they,
lists?
Jackie?
They do, actually.
Okay, so that's legit. That one
Yeah.
was okay. All right. Just gotta check. That's why she's here. This man has 3 malpractice suits against him, which makes him the perfect candidate to perform your heart transplant right. Well, Jackie, is that a normal thing? Like, he would still be allowed to perform a major surgery like that?
No. And high-profile people, like, you can't have a scratch, a nick, or a dent
Oh, really?
on your record, like, at all. Because
Exactly.
as much as they say that everybody's treated equally, it's totally not the case. Like,
This guy probably
there are
donated a fucking wing to the hospital at some point.
yeah, they're gonna get the best.
Okay. I read textbooks on this procedure, but we're going to throw common sense out the window and still let the war machine perform the operation anyway at the 26-minute mark. The guy who's obviously clearly more qualified to perform this procedure is getting dumped in favor of Terrence Howard, a pimp. This doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh my God.
It's just, like, what?
Okay, can we at least say the head of a record label?
Well, that's a pimp too. So to be fair, let's keep that right.
His character's not a pimp in Empire.
Well,
It's not. He's not.
It's a different kind of pimp.
He kind of sort of faked having MS.
So Mr. Howard is still going to perform the procedure regardless, even though he shouldn't be doing this. But there's a reason why, and we're getting to this. There's a big reveal, folks. Hang in there. And here you go, Jackie. So now they're prepping for the OR. The team is in there. The team, which is Fisher Stevens, Terrence Howard, some British chick. I guess Laura Croft is in there.
One that she's very clumsy and
Yes.
she keeps like dropping everything. Yeah, that's somebody.
Oh
who
my God, yeah.
Do you work with that? Do you work with that person?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm not
Okay.
gonna.
So that's accurate. That's accurate. Okay, good. No. We don't want you to name drop that. We just want to know it's accurate. All right. Thank you. Wow. Show's going to do
They
great.
do vaginas, by the way.
Oh, well, we have nothing against vaginas. No.
Yes, thank you, vaginas.
So instead of the regular anesthesiologist, Actor Christopher McDonald blows into the room as the replacement, and he says some fucked up thing like, "I just read your pre-op assessment and came up with this nice little cocktail. Anesthesiologist sounds more like a mob enforcer than he does a qualified medical professional at the 31-minute mark. Nobody talks like that."
I actually do. Like, I tell them that, here's a party hat and you're having a cocktail, and literally they're like, dude, you're an awesome bartender. I've been told that.
Oh my God. All right. Just let yourself go. Let yourself drift away. Just so we can watch Jessica Alba stroll around on a beach like she's appearing in a feminine hygiene commercial around the 32-minute mark.
No, it's like a Maxim photo shoot.
So they put him under, but he doesn't really go under. And as Jackie explained at length earlier on about how this works, the different levels of going under. Chris McDonald is the actor is the anesthesiologist. Go ahead, Jack.
Correct. So as he's giving, he doesn't give very much of that like induction agent or what puts him to sleep. He then gives the muscle relaxation and never turns on the gas because he's clearly so drunk that he has no idea what he's doing at all. And he's not watching his monitors because anybody who actually is awake to get their chest cracked open, your heart rate would literally look like you're having like a heart attack because it would go like beep, 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 and go crazy.
So Jackie, let me back up real quick. What is the actual procedure before you disseminate what he did?
Okay, so most of the time we give something, it's an anti-anxiety medication before they roll back, and it has a secondary effect that it actually makes them forget everything. They makes them forget me and everything that I had said up to that point or whatnot. Then we actually give the medication to induce somebody or to put them asleep for general anesthetic, give them a muscle relaxant of some sort, either short acting from like a 30-second mark, or we can give them something long acting that would be like for like 30 minutes to an hour. We would intubate the patient, put a tube inside of their vocal cords. Now, just because you have a tube in, you can either breathe yourself or you can be put on a ventilator. For this type of procedure, he has to be put on a ventilator. And then usually we would redose them by checking to see how their muscle twitches and stimulation, make sure that they're good, completely paralyzed, and then we would turn on the gas. And that would keep them off to sleep at the acceptable level, which we in anesthesia call 1 MAC of anesthesia.
Now, you just said all that. I hope everybody got that for who's still listening. What didn't he do in that procedure which you just
never turned on the gas to keep him asleep.
Okay.
So he was paralyzed, so he could not move at all. The vent was on, so it means that they were breathing for him, but there was no gases to keep him asleep. Any person who has any credentials in anesthesia would be able to see, because we look at changes. It's kind of like a veterinarian. Like, you don't have to be able to speak dog or cat to know what's wrong with them. You just have to treat them, right? So we look at the monitors, we look at their heart rate, their blood pressure, and we're able to adjust and give more medications as needed just based on that.
Okay.
That was my big issue. I was like, wouldn't he go into shock? Wouldn't they notice that if he could feel pain or like was aware? Wouldn't they notice that on the monitors?
Oh yeah, his heart rate would be like beep, 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 beep,
Right,
beep.
that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Right. Okay.
his blood pressure would literally go nuts, and he could potentially go under
stroke
cardiac
out.
arrest.
Right, yeah, you can stroke out. Okay, all right. So there you go, folks. That's if you watch the film, you know where we're at. If you haven't, you learned a lot right now. Maybe you need to go watch the movie. God, aren't I supposed to be out for all of this? Or so we're just saying, tough luck, whiny Vader. You're stuck watching this crappy film just like we are. Woo! And then he goes into, now he's going under, and of course now he's not really under because, like I said, Jackie said he doesn't have the gas, and he's paralyzed, but he's awake. He's saying stupid shit like, just think of something else, think about anything, think about how of a bad actor you are even when you're doing voiceover work. 34-minute mark. His voiceover was terrible.
It was like he recorded like an audiobook and they just took snippets and like placed them at different points in the movie.
He got like a paper cut when his chest was getting cut open.
Right.
Like, ow.
Because let me tell you, if your chest is getting cut open, you're going to feel it. Your heart rate is going to go through the roof. That's a serious deal. Not so much for the initial incision,
but
ow.
It's like you're laughing because it's uncomfortable, and you feel like so wrong because you're laughing, but you're like, oh my, like you can't look, and it's just he was in more agony when Obi-Wan slashed off.
I'm an idiot, and I thought that this surgery scene was going to be like 5 seconds long, and I tried to fast forward through it.
It's the whole movie.
I didn't want to see it.
Come on.
Yeah. And then I realized, like, buckle up.
Yeah.
We're going to be in this scene for a long time.
Back it up.
I know. Hated it.
We're halfway home, Sam. Well, as is the audience, thankfully, since we've hit the 40-minute mark in this medical turd. Hang in there, folks. I don't know if we can do this. Finish filming all of your scenes? Well, we don't blame you. That's Terrence Howard. So now let's recap what's actually happened. The heart transplant is going on, and Mr. Hayden Christensen is having a fit. And as this is going on, we're finding out more about the team that's working on him. And finally, we realize that the team is working on Terrence Howard and Fisher Stevens. They're out for nefarious purposes. They're actually setting this guy up. And here we go. And then the line is, we're going to kill this guy. Then we're going to go get a fucking martini. That was Fisher Stevens saying that. Then the plot finally kicks into gear, guys, around the 44-minute mark about some shady doctor business in a film that, again, runs only 84 minutes. Well done, Joby Harold, who wrote and directed this fucking nonsense.
But we don't even get a reason why they came up with this plot. There's no we're running away to somewhere all together, or like
because of all the malpractice debt they were under. Like, would they still be practicing?
No. Jackie screamed.
A dude that has 3 medical malpractice lawsuits. Like, again, it varies in every state.
Right.
But. And also, you have to be the dumbest patient on the planet to choose someone who has 3 medical malpractice lawsuits. I mean, come on.
All right.
Like, you got to do your research. That's like somebody putting cement in your butt trying to make it look like, Kardashian. Like.
Wait.
Hear that, Sarah? Sarah, did you get that?
Hold on.
You mean the guy who did Tara Reid's like liposuction?
I got to cancel an appointment.
Think, Clay. Figure this out. Film now shifts into a murder mystery gear as Whiny Vader leaves his body in an effort not to get killed. This is like getting 2 lifetime. Damn it! This is like getting 2 lifetime or lifetime. Man, that's all. I'm just drinking cheap beer. It's getting like 2 lifetime dramas in one. Whew! Long way to go for nothing. But you're getting a lot of movie here, folks. You're getting a typical boring drama, and now we're gonna shift into Robin Cook film in this.
No, this is just the worst episode of Scrubs ever.
Well, I just thought it was like the screenwriter director Joby Harold couldn't figure out how to finish this romantic drama. Jesus Christ! So he decided to chuck in and write a thriller ending instead, which like the two don't mix very well, and it's such an abrupt shift in tone that it took me a while. I had to rewind it to figure out that this is where we were going. That everybody was kind of in on setting this guy up, and we'll talk about that. We're not quite to this point because Whiny Vader has to. Here we go, guys. He has to separate himself from his body in the OR on the table. So he manages to get out of his own body. We're guessing. This is not explained. He doesn't have that halo thing. It's not like 90 Minutes in Heaven. And also, guys, why is Whiny Vader's soul, because it leaves his body, now dressed in hospital scrubs? Who the hell's going to see him? 45-minute mark.
I guess they didn't pay him enough to see his butt.
Why wasn't he naked?
Why wasn't he naked?
He should have been naked, right?
Actually, like for open heart surgery, they are naked, so he should be naked.
I don't know where he got the scrubs.
What you hiding or what you not hiding?
True. Like, is he just
What you
walking
not
around
hating?
stealing?
Oh God.
This movie would have been much better had he been naked. I'm just gonna say it.
So he has to go around and figure out what's going on and why Terrence Howard and Fisher Stevens are trying to kill him. Basically, they're going to switch out a heart with a bat. Well, they're going to take the new heart and inject it with something that's going to crap out the new heart, and he's going to die on the table. That's their plan, and we'll find out why that plan is and who else is involved. We're not quite there yet, but these guys.
That is called potassium, just in case you guys wanted to know.
He's just fine. Everything's going according to plan. Well, at least as long as I keep my buzz on. Then I said, do all anesthesiologists get tanked up before they put people under? I think Jackie already said no. She generally doesn't do that.
Not generally.
Generally,
she doesn't do that.
Not generally. There
Never,
might be
never.
some. Okay, sorry. So for her, officially, it's never. You have to be sober. You got to be sober for most of the stuff. Sam, he's trying to kill me. As if the film wasn't already short on running time. Let's replay the same scenes over and over, but now with whiny Darth Vader's blue scrub soul trying to Columbo the situation around the 48-minute mark. So now, folks, we get to revisit the same fucking scenes we saw in the first 45 minutes of the film with whiny Vader separated from his body and blue scrubs running, just following people, including himself.
No,
This was like a really bad episode of Unforgettable. I don't know if anybody else has ever seen that show with Poppy Montgomery, where she has a photographic memory.
Yeah.
She would literally stand in a room and then remember everything that happened from every perspective, as if she has a 360, eyeball where she can see shit. I was like, oh, come on. This is
Oh
bad.
my God, it's like her dumb brother.
Yeah, you have to keep restaging the same scenes over and over and over again. And, like, we've seen it once, and now we got to see it 14 different times. That's really the back end of this movie. From now until 84-minute mark, it's the same shit over and over again.
They had budget cuts.
Yep. Yeah, obviously, Jack.
my
Serious
God,
budget cuts. Wait, you can't back out. So now Jessica Alba's character is in on the shady donor scam. Let's pay attention, folks. Was anybody surprised that Jessica Alba was actually kind of the ringleader, in a sense, of this whole damn thing?
But it was such a ridiculously it was a long con. This took a fucking year.
So basically, Hayden Christensen is super rich. So Terrence Howard is in a huge amount of debt because he's got 4 malpractice suits against him. He comes up with the idea to have Jessica Alba, who works in the hospital, go to fall in love with Hayden Christensen, marry him, and then when they're switching his heart out, he would die on the table, and then Jessica Alba would inherit $100 million because he's rich, which obviously, as Cress mentioned earlier, does not happen because they just got fucking married, 24
There's no
hours?
will. There's no transfer of
way,
anything.
right.
And they're in New York.
And the mother's
which
still
is
alive, right? The mother's still alive.
She's not going to get jack shit anyway.
And the mother's still alive. So basically, and they were going to split the $100 million 4 ways. It was obviously the guy from Short Circuit,
And why
War
4
Machine,
ways?
the British.
Why are they all equally responsible for this
They
shit?
aren't, right? Because it's really what's his name doing all the work, Mr. Terrence Howard.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
it
the
seems
stupidest.
like I thought it was her idea.
Maybe, yeah. Well, whoever's idea was, it's really done, and it relies a lot on Hayden Christensen falling in love with Jessica Alba and marrying him, or marrying her, right?
Apparently it's supposed to be the other girl, and then she quote unquote got knocked up.
The British chick, yeah, Laura Croft.
And she claims that she would have had the ring on her finger in 6 months.
Yeah, bullshit.
But oh my God, if Terrence Howard is that bad a doctor, he would have had 5 more lawsuits.
Well, sometimes Terrence Howard wouldn't even be doing this procedure, but like Jackie said.
Right.
So anyway, she goes in to confront him, and that's where the line comes: get her a gown, because a gown will help keep her sterile in the OR, despite not having a hair wrap, face mask, or gloves. God damn it! Sure, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
You can't just waltz in. So you basically contaminated the whole goddamn.
Especially in open heart surgery. It's especially
really?
when they're doing a heart transplant. There is nothing that you can do. The only thing I have heard one time where somebody was coming in to check, and this is when I was in school, so of course all these stories are buried into my soul. But an anesthesiologist, another one came in to check, hey, how are things doing? Looks over the drapes, and his glasses fall right in the person's
Oh, no way!
The whole thing and
gross.
Jackie, let me ask this question: how easy is it for someone like this woman just to walk from the lobby straight into the OR room like that? You can't just do that, right?
Absolutely not. There's guarded different things where you have to use your badge. Again, nobody has badges.
Oh, there we go. You're right.
Just put on scrubs and you can walk around anywhere.
Yeah, in that hospital. That's a shitty
I'm
hospital.
sorry. I was watching an episode of Bob's Burgers where they were looking for a rotten egg, and they all had face masks on. They took more precautions than the people in this movie.
Yeah, you don't need face masks in this film at all. All right. Larry, look at my eye. Why am I crying? Well, for the same reason the audience is crying. This movie blows. 55-minute mark. Not the greatest joke, but we should mention Hayden Christensen is trying desperately to signal Larry, which is basically Jackie, the anesthesiologist, by crying.
Well, it's not really like crying. So your lacrimal ducts they can start getting watery or whatnot, but that's kind of like a sign like, hey, either the person needs more anesthetic, the person also might need something just like for pain or whatnot, because a lot of times, or it could just be that they're like really hot, like during the actual procedure itself, and the lacrimal ducts will start watering.
Okay.
So when we see that, generally, we'd actually increase our gas, give some more pain medication, give a little bit more of that anti-anxiety, forgetfulness medication, and then send them on their merry way.
All right, there you go. We lost it all, Clay. So did we, amidst all these confusing flashbacks. Back end of the film unfolds like an ADD fever dream. So basically, that's what's happening, is the back end of the film, he keeps wandering through the same scenes we've seen, and some we haven't, of him trying to figure out who is double-crossing him, why they're double-crossing him, and then who's involved in the plot. I blew it. I'm the one that should be talking to her. You actually blew it when you accepted a role in this shirt. So they switch out the hearts. Jessica Alba makes him inject... Because what's his name is going to be a pussy. Terrence Howard kind of pussies out halfway through this and doesn't want to be on the hook for this because he thinks Chris McDonald is going to rat him out, that they push him down the donor list.
I think he kind of realizes, like, maybe I shouldn't murder somebody to get out of this.
Right, exactly.
That's how I interpret it.
Jessica Alba's like, you're going to do it anyway. And what they inject in the heart, Jackie?
It's potassium, a high concentration. So I don't want people or listeners to be like, oh my God, I can't have potassium. No, you can have potassium chloride, like we hang it in bags and stuff like that. So that's what kind of was the mixture, what we give for people with IVs and stuff. But if your potassium's low, yeah, you do need potassium pills, or that's how people.
Yeah, I know. It's not a medical show, dude. But what happens when you inject that into the heart? What happens when you put it in like what happens to the heart?
It stops it completely.
Okay, that's what they're doing. They didn't explain that. Pretty sad when you have to have a guest on to explain a film that happened in 2007. Like they couldn't fucking do it then because I had no idea I knew it had to do something with stopping the heart, but apparently it stops it completely. Okay, so you see, we're learning, folks. We're learning so much today. So he basically dies on the table, and theoretically dies, but they have him on bypass. That's the thing, right, Jackie? They have him on bypass, and they keep him on bypass for a little bit. Okay, good.
Yeah, and just because of the fact that in the everybody leaves. Like if you didn't notice, like during the surgery itself, there was only like I don't know. There was a time where all four of them were like outside. So again, there had to have been somebody who was in there. But actually, when they do go on bypass, you can step out of the room or whatnot, but then when they come back off of bypass, because basically we're bypassing everything. We're bypassing the heart. So
because there's no heart in there. Right. They say he's dead, but he's on bypass, so he's still technically alive. So they come out, they tell Lena Olin, they tell Jessica Alba, who's in on it, that he's fucking dead. Lena Olin kind of, wises up. She says, could you leave me alone for a minute? And that's when I said, folks, did anyone not guess at this point what Lena Olin's character was planning to do? The film was so badly telegraphed, writer-director Joby Harold might as well have printed the screenplay on the screen, the hour and 5 minute hour. Anybody got that? You knew she was going to commit suicide, right? Because they have the same blood type. They had O negative. It's very rare. And so in order to save her son, she decides to commit suicide so her heart can be transplanted into his body. I know. I'm going to ask about this.
It seemed like such an awkward detail to throw in about like him having a rare blood type. So you knew it was going to be like a family member.
Exactly. All right, let's prep her for surgery. Whew. Which is completely legal for a doctor who doesn't work at a hospital just to bust in and start cutting people open. Sure. Jackie, you can't do that, right? If you don't work at the hospital, you just can't run in and perform a surgery. Am I correct?
Correct. After getting hired at any hospital, it takes like 3 to 4 to 5 months to finally get your fucking credentials. And like there will be you have to go through so much red tape. I couldn't practice for like 3 months because I was waiting to like get everything all prepared. And trust me, they wouldn't let me do anything. I couldn't even like eat in the same cafeteria for
if you can't get into the computer system, you can't do anything.
You can't do anything, right?
So, yeah, what she does is before she commits suicide, she calls the actual guy, the actual heart surgery.
Yeah, but let me just say this. Obviously, this guy is super, elite doctor. He probably has privileges at multiple hospitals across the country.
That could be.
I mean, that's not implausible for the plot.
All right. So, I guess it is theoretically.
Jackie, that's true. Doctors have privileges at multiple hospitals.
Yeah, but they're all in the same vicinity. And
Right.
you, like, in order to keep your license in, like, all these states, you actually have to practice in those states. Like, you have requirements. So, like,
yeah, but in this movie, they're talking about him performing the surgery across town at his, usual hospital. So it wouldn't be implausible for a doctor in
All
New
right,
York practicing in New York City to have another privilege at a different hospital.
yeah, that's fine. That's normal, as long as it's within the same area.
Basically, she calls him before she commits suicide, tells him what the deal is, that fucking Jessica Alba is in on the deal, and that she's bullshitting, and they plan to kill his son, and the only way to save her is by her dying in the cafeteria, which is real classy. And this guy come in and do the heart transplant, put her heart in his body.
But can I ask a technical question to Jackie?
boy.
If she OD'd on his heart medicine, wouldn't that make her heart inviolable for a transplant?
Actually, that's correct.
Well,
Murdered her own heart.
thanks, Jackie, for blowing out the rest of the movie. Okay, so now this whole thing goes out the window.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot
one-
of them go back in time and like
We'll go
do
back
some
in
like
time.
Charles Dickensian like
Well,
flashback.
That's what happens is they both meet each other in time, I guess. Hayden Christensen and
No, they meet,
They're
they're in the the in between lines area.
I know.
They should have had Shirley MacLaine show up, like in
or
defending my life, and then
Or they should have had David Harbour show up again because they're in
Dracula?
between Upside Down.
I have a strong heart, Clay, and you're going to need a strong stomach to tolerate this first-year screenwriter's nonsense at back end of the film, which has the two of them meeting in the in-between. David Harbour's not there, unfortunately. He needed to be. She'd been to that hospital before. And, of course, now we get to watch Lena Olin put on her best Columbo as we revisit scenes again around the hour and 8 minute mark as she figures out how she caught on to Jessica Alba and the scam. And it has to do with letters and medication and all this other bullshit we've just been talking about. But then again, Jackie blew out the whole movie by saying her heart wouldn't have been a viable candidate at the end of the movie. So there you go. I can't go with you. Oh, no. Again, was anyone surprised that Alba would let Howard take the rap for attempting to kill Whiny Vader? So everything goes south. The surgeon goes in and whips out the heart, puts the other heart in. As meanwhile, the villains try to get away, and they're all caught by the cops. Mr. Howard has a final scene with Miss Alba. Alba, of course, turns out to be the ultimate bitch of the show. I said she was about as believable as a femme fatale as she was playing a superhero in Fantastic Four. She sucked. She's just not a very good actress, and definitely not the right actress to carry across this type of performance, which should have been more nuanced. And she can't really do nuance that well. And I think that's what kind of just throws everything out the window. But she's great looking. She got a great tan, nice tits, but just doesn't have it on the acting chops to pull.
Well,
this
I don't get what the side thing was like, showing that the dead Santa deal was really the abusive father.
Oh, we're not there yet. Hold on.
my
That's
God,
we
that
haven't
was-
gone. It's right here. It's hanging. Really, this is at the back end of the movie. That's what the worst part is. Jesus, don't you ever shut up? I'm trying to snort coke and slap around your mother here.
Oh my God.
This is so at the end of the movie, she gets him to remember what he forgot as a child, and that's basically his father was doing coke, slapping around his wife. He just wasn't a nice guy as a businessman. The mother, clocks him on the fucking back of the head with a fire poker, and
Because he was about to hit the kid, right?
Yeah, he's about to slap around the kid a little bit, which I thought was more interesting than the movie we were watching at the hour and 15-minute mark. But no, he falls over a balcony and dies, and that was the dark secret. On top of everything else that's going on, we got to have this whole backflash sequence about this literally at the end of the movie.
It added nothing though to the main story.
I was just
No.
gonna
Right.
say, I didn't understand. I was like, wait, what are they
Weren't
going?
Jackie, weren't you asleep at this
Well,
point?
for the whole movie, he keeps talking about how great his dad was, and he could never fill his shoes,
Right.
and he's just so inadequate, even
Dad
though he
was
has
an
all these
asshole.
accomplishments. So, and when he's dead,
Right.
his dead mother then has to tell him, like, no, remember your dad was a fucking
Yeah, he
asshole.
was a fucking asshole.
And you're not like that.
No,
Coke
I need
snoring.
to tell you the truth. I protected you,
Oh, brother.
and I was wrong.
The only thing that really matters now, he is awake. Unlike the audience who dipped into a coma at some point during this dreadful thriller. So the last shot of the movie is Hayden Christensen waking up. There you go. So, yeah, he saved, the doctor saved his life, his mother saved his life, and who gives a shit? Crest on credits? What do we got? Anything?
Nothing.
Oh, after all of that, 84 minutes and nothing. All right, there you go, folks. That is awake for this week, and we're barely awake after this one. Well, we took it out and played with it a lot longer than we should have. Could we flush it, ladies? Could we please flush it?
Flush it.
Flush it.
Oh wait.
Boy, all right, we're getting real soft on that, guys. Consider it flushed. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin, Agent Woody movie queen Nora Crest, and the lovely Sassy Cinephile Sarah Polton. Holy shit! I want to thank our very special guest who's just debriefed us on everything medical regarding this bullshit. Jacqueline Darna. of NoMo Nausea Bands and the forthcoming, or actually now, Pukology Podcast, right, Jackie?
Yes. So Pukology Podcast, it's where the humor of your hilarious puke stories meets the science behind why it happens and tips and tricks to stop the upchuckle that you need.
Oh, brother. Oh,
Awesome.
wow. Who wrote that copy? That's Jesus. All right, so there you go, folks. Check out. It's available now, right, Jack?
It is, yeah.
All right. We'll have a link in the show notes for Pukology, but I'll have to find
And
it.
the
I gotta go find
bracelet.
it. Jackie, thank you so much. You were absolutely wonderful and very informative
You are awesome.
and medical. We really,
You
really
are-
appreciate
Thanks
you.
for having me. This is really fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, it's great to have somebody so
Have an
knowledgeable
amazing-
about
We'd
this.
love to have you back.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely want Jackie
Oh,
back
for
in
sure.
a future episode, flushing something else. Hopefully that has nothing to do with the anesthesiologist. And that's it for this week, folks. We're going to be back next week to torture you with something else, hopefully less medical. Until then, say goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye, biatch.
No, stop.
Bye.
Polton, cut that shit out. Done.
I can do whatever I want.
Damn it.
I'm an adult.
Every week.
We don't get paid enough to do what you
Every-
tell us.
You get paid plenty.
Right.
You get paid penny, all right? God damn it.
Hi, this is Nora Crest, and I want to thank you for listening this week and every week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so we attract more listeners and you don't miss a single episode. We love feedback, so email us at signalsoffury@gmail.com with your comments and suggestions for future flushes. Also, be sure to check out our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. I'm Nora Crest, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.